Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into one of the more intense and provocative chapters of Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra, titled simply The Rabble.
This sounds like it's going to be a challenging one. When Nietzsche uses a word like rabble, you know he isn't holding back his opinions at all.
He certainly isn't. The chapter opens with a powerful metaphor, stating that life is a well of delight, but where the rabble drink, all fountains are poisoned.
So right from the start, he's setting up this idea that the rabble are a corrupting influence. Who exactly does he mean by this term, though?
That's the key question. It's not about social class or wealth. For Nietzsche, the rabble is a mindset of people who are unclean in spirit and resentful of purity.
Unclean in spirit. Could you expand on what that really means? It sounds very abstract, like he's talking about a kind of spiritual pollution they spread.
Exactly. He says they cast their envious eyes into the fountain of life, and their odious smile reflects back. They don't just drink, they contaminate the source for everyone.
So it's an active process of spoiling things. They see something good and pure, and their immediate instinct is to make it dirty, to bring it down to their level.
Precisely. He claims they poison holy water with their lustfulness, and even poison words by calling their filthy dreams a delight. They twist the meaning of everything noble.
That's a powerful accusation. It's like they devalue everything they touch. He also mentions fire and fruit. How do they corrupt those elements?
He says when they bring their damp hearts to a fire, the flame, representing the spirit, just sputters and smokes instead of burning brightly. They extinguish passion and inspiration.
And the fruit? I imagine it's a similar idea. They ruin the final product, the achievement of something, just by being near it or handling it.
You've got it. He writes that fruit becomes mawkish and over-mellow in their hands, and their very gaze can make a fruit tree wither at the top.
It's such a visceral image of decay. Their negativity and mediocrity literally cause things of value to rot before they can even be enjoyed properly.
It leads many great individuals, as Zarathustra notes, to turn away from life itself, not because life is bad, but because they hate sharing it with the rabble.
So they choose isolation. They'd rather go into the wilderness and suffer thirst with wild animals than sit at a well with filthy camel drivers, as he puts it.
Yes, the disgust is that profound. He even says some who became destroyers, like hailstorms on fields, only wanted to stop the rabble's throat from speaking.
That's an extreme reaction. It's not just avoidance anymore. It's a desire to silence that corrupting influence completely, even through destructive means.
And this leads him to his most agonizing question. He says he almost suffocated asking it. What, is the rabble also necessary for life?
He's really struggling here. He's asking if poison fountains, stinking fires, and filth are just a required, unavoidable part of the human experience.
It's his deep loathing, his gnawing disgust that wears him down. He even finds it exhausting when the rabble try to be spiritual or intellectual.
I can see that. It's like seeing something you hold sacred being performed poorly or insincerely, which can feel worse than it being ignored completely.
This disgust extends to politics. He says he turned his back on rulers when he saw that ruling had just become bargaining for power with the rabble.
So he sees modern politics as just pandering to the lowest common denominator, a trafficking of values to gain favor with the crowd.
To escape it, he lived among people with a strange language, with his ears stopped so he wouldn't have to understand their shallow dealings and power games.
He's creating a total sensory deprivation to shield his spirit. He holds his nose and walks through the past and present, smelling only the stench of the scribbling rabble.
Yes, he's lived like someone deaf and blind and dumb for a long time, just to avoid living with what he calls the power rabble, scribe rabble, and pleasure rabble.
It's interesting how he categorizes them. It's not just one group, but this rabble mindset has infected politics, media, and entertainment.
His journey out of this state was a slow, difficult climb. He says his spirit mounted the stairs toilsomely, and life was like a blind person creeping along with a staff.
But then a shift happens, right? He asks, how have I freed myself from loathing? Something changes for him, and he finds a way out.
Yes, and it's a fantastic psychological twist. He wonders if his own loathing, his intense disgust, was the very thing that created wings for him to fly.
So the negative energy that was poisoning him became the fuel for his transformation. He had to fly to the highest point just to escape it.
Exactly. He says, "Verily, to the loftiest height had I to fly, to find again the well of delight." He has found a new source of joy.
And this new well is different. It's on a height where no rabble any longer sit at the wells. He's finally found a pure, uncontaminated source.
He has. He describes this fountain as flowing almost too violently for him. He has to learn to approach this new powerful source of delight more modestly.
It sounds like he's almost overwhelmed by this newfound purity and happiness after being mired in disgust for so long. His heart is overflowing.
He compares his heart to a short, hot, melancholy, over-happy summer that longs for the coolness of this new fountain. The distress of his past is finally over.
So he's reached a new state of being, a summer noontide on the loftiest height, characterized by cold fountains and blissful stillness. It sounds very solitary.
It is, but he invites his friends to join him, so the stillness can become even more blissful. This height is a home for those who can make the climb.
And it's a place that is fundamentally inaccessible to the uncleanly ones and their thirst. It's a protected space for a higher type of spirit.
He's so confident in its purity that he tells his friends to cast their pure eyes into his well of delight, knowing it will just laugh back with its own purity.
It can't be contaminated by them because they share the same elevated nature. So what does life look like for them on this height?
He uses another metaphor. They will build their nest on the tree of the future, and eagles will bring them food in their beaks, representing nourishment for the noble.
And this is food that the impure couldn't even eat. He says they would think they were devouring fire and would burn their mouths.
That's right. The values and joys of this higher existence would be painful or incomprehensible to the rabble. Their happiness is like an ice cave to the rabble's spirit.
So it's not just a pleasant place, it's actively hostile to that lower mindset. It's a fortress of the spirit in a way.
And they won't just live in isolation. He says a strong winds will live above them, neighbors to eagles, snow, and the sun. They become a force of nature.
He's moving from a defensive posture of hiding from the rabble to an active one of living powerfully above them. That's a significant change.
It's the final transformation. He declares that he will one day blow among them like a wind and, with his spirit, take the breath from their spirit.
He's no longer just disgusted by their stale air. He's become the fresh, strong wind that will blow it all away. He's become an active, cleansing force.
And this leads to the famous final line, which is a piece of advice to his enemies. Take care not to spit against the wind.
Because he is the wind. Any attempt to defile him or his ideas will just be blown right back in their own faces. It's a statement of ultimate power.
Exactly. The journey is complete. He has moved from being suffocated by the rabble to becoming a force of nature that they cannot possibly harm or defy.
It's a powerful, if harsh, message about self-overcoming. You have to rise so high that the things that once poisoned you can no longer even reach you.
It's the ultimate path to finding your own well of delight by climbing above the noise and creating a reality so pure that it's untouchable by negativity.
A truly challenging idea, but one that really encapsulates Nietzsche's philosophy of creating one's own values. Thank you for breaking that down for us.